Hello everybody, today we are going to go over some things Expansive Worlds have recently talked about, along with my personal wants for the future of this game. I want to make it clear that just because I say I want something doesn't mean it will happen. These are just my thoughts and things that I think would be cool. I'm going to have some TheHunter Classic highlights playing in the background, so enjoy those. But before we start, we are trying to hit 4,000 subscribers before the end of the month. As we speak, we're around 27 away from hitting that mark, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I post daily Call the Wild videos and do 5 live streams a week, and if you don't subscribe, you're going to be missing out on a lot of content. Also, be sure to join my Discord and become a member of the Crow's Nest today. Keep in mind that Discord's terms state that you must be 13 or older to have a Discord account. But with that being said, let's get straight into today's video. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to talk about is the recent post that Expansive Worlds put on their Twitter. They have resized the Axis Deer body size, which is absolutely awesome. It's something that's been needed for quite some time. And I'm happy that they finally decided to make the adjustment to get them to a more realistic size. So before they were pretty much maybe, I don't know, maybe knee height, which was not realistic at all. And now they're a little bit more in line with the other deer species. They're slightly smaller than a white-tailed deer, as you can see by the image. I'll probably put the images up so you guys can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about. But this is a much-needed change, and it's something that's going to be much welcomed. And I'm really happy that they finally decided to do this, and I can't wait to see what they're going to be like when we actually get the Trurac Axis Deer to hunt. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to hunt them now, especially since they're more realistic. The next thing that we're going to talk about is they posted another thing talking about the Axis Deer inspiration, or what they have looked at to get ideas for the models for the TruRACS antlers. And I think they did a good job of picking out different ones to kind of represent examples, I guess, of what they want to do. And if they model them off of the ones that they're showing, then I feel like the Trurac Axis Deer are actually going to be really good. Because for the most part, it looks like they've got a decent variety of different shaped antlers, and that's something that previously we didn't really have a lot of. Most of the Axis Deer didn't look super great, and I really hope that we have a lot more different variety and configurations on the racks. But by the looks of what they posted, it does seem like there will be a much wider range of Axis Deer antlers, and they'll probably be a lot more realistic than the current ones, because the current ones are, they're not great. They're a little bit too thick on some of them. Some of them have too small of forks at the top, which I've always been kind of bothered by, because most Axis Deer don't have tiny little forks, and some of the level 4s, I believe, do have those tiny forks, which is a little bit odd. But really happy that they're taking some real-life inspiration from some relatively good-looking Axis Deer. So it should turn out good, hopefully. Alright, next thing is there's going to be quite a few bug fixes coming with this next patch. They did talk about this in their Quality of Life live stream that they did recently on the Expansive Worlds Twitch and YouTube. And they went over a lot of really good things, a lot of bug fixes that people have been wanting, like the flickering animals. I think some of the fixes for missions might be coming through. I can't remember off the top of my head, so don't quote me on that one, but I believe some of the mission stuff is getting fixed. There's a pretty decent list of bug fixes coming with this next update, so that's going to be really good because the game is in a state where there's quite a few bugs at the moment, and it would be nice if they could squash some of them out, which obviously that'll come with the next few patches, and hopefully they can get the game to a really good state like it has been in the previous times, because the game was in a pretty good state, and then with the last few releases, a lot of bugs came and kind of pushed a lot of people away from the game. So I feel like once they start squashing some of those bug fixes, they will probably end up getting a lot of the player base back that is left, or at least we can hope. Alright, so now that we got past the stuff that we know is coming, there's a few things that I wanted to talk about on things that I'd kind of like to see in the game in the future. One of them being a bow rework. I really feel like currently bows are just not worth using if you're the type of person that wants to be efficient and enjoys grinding, because right now the bows, they have a relatively large spook radius compared to what they do in the Hunter Classic, and in my opinion the Hunter Classic has some of the best bow hunting I've seen in any game, and it would be really nice if they could get Call of the Wild's bow hunting up to par with Classics. I think some things that they could do to kind of make this a thing is give the bows a little bit lower spook radius, because currently whether you're close or far away, if there's an animal anywhere close to the one that you're shooting, there's a good chance everything will spook, and I feel like they need to lessen the spook radius just a tiny bit. It doesn't have to be a lot, just enough to make it so the bow is a little bit better of a silent weapon that makes it so you can take out multiple targets without spooking them off. And I think if they do that, that alone will make people use bows more. But I think another thing that could be done to make it even better is possibly give bows half hunting pressure. I think that would be something that would also be very helpful. That way, if you're not in a stand to reduce your hunting pressure, you can just use your bow, and instead of being able to kill 3 or 4, well, I believe currently with a rifle or a bow, regardless of what you're using, it's 4 kills before you delete a zone that you're over top of. So if they were to cut the bow's hunting pressure in half, you'd be able to kill 7, and then the 8th would delete the zone. So I think that'd be a really good change, and it would make bow hunting, you know, much more worth it. And then if they wanted to, they could also maybe increase the cash rewards for bow kills. I think that could also be pretty cool. Give you more incentive to use the bows, because the bows are pretty decent. For the most part, they're nice. It's just the rewards that you get for using a bow aren't great enough, and I really feel like if they increase the rewards with things like I just mentioned, it would make the bow hunting much more appealing to a lot more players. Alright, next on the list is a more hardcore game mode. This is something that I've kind of wanted them to add for a long time, and I'm really hoping that they will consider doing this eventually. I've been seeing it come up more and more from people in the community and in other people's communities. It seems like more people are starting to want a more difficult experience. Now, I'm not saying change the main game. I want the main game to stay the way it is, obviously, but give us the option when we're creating a profile to select a harder game mode where maybe there's no need zones, lower populations, maybe the animals have better senses, stuff like that to make it a little more rewarding when you actually do find a diamond or a rare, because currently, as a lot of you know, diamonds and rares aren't nearly as hard to find as they used to be. You can pretty much guarantee that you'll find at least 1 diamond in a 2-hour play session, and it didn't used to be like that. I mean, it could just be that a lot of people are getting better at the game and have been playing it for longer, so they know how it works, but either way, I think a game mode where stuff like that is less common would be really cool, and I'd really love to see that. Next, we'll talk about stuff that I'd like to see changed with the trophy lodges. I feel like the biggest thing with the trophy lodges right now is that there's no way to filter through your trophies. That's something that has been requested for a while, and I see a lot of people mentioning that this is something they really want, and it's something that I've really wanted for a long time, because I've got probably over 1,000 trophies in my trophy manager right now between all my lodges, and it's impossible to look for anything that I killed, you know, more than a couple months ago. In order to find those older trophies, I have to scroll through and just look at all of the different names of the species, the score, and the fur type, and hope I find it relatively quick, or the other way to do it is to just go into your lodge and pick it up off of its plaque. But obviously, both of those methods are relatively slow, so if we had the ability to filter our trophies by their score, their medal, their species, fur variation, their weight, maybe even the reserve that we harvested them on, I feel like that could really make it a lot easier to sort through your trophies. That way, if you want to delete some old trophies that you don't need anymore, it'll be a lot easier to find them, and you won't have to scroll through the list for too long. And I think just that alone would make the trophy lodges way, way better and nicer to use. Another thing that I really think would be good for the trophy lodges is the ability to name them. It's something that, once again, I don't think it'd be very hard to implement, just the ability to change the name of your lodge, and that would help out people quite a bit when it comes to people that want to have a lot of different lodges for different reserves or different species. It would make it just that much easier to sort through them and immediately know which lodge you want to go into. It's something that, once again, I don't think it'll be that hard, and I feel like it will happen eventually, but we can hope it'll be sometime soon. Another thing is I really don't understand why we can't enter our lodges from inside of a multiplayer game. Currently, you can't enter the lodges if you're in a multiplayer game. You have to go to the main menu, enter your own map, and then enter the lodges from there, which obviously I feel like it would just make more sense if we could enter them from multiplayer. I don't know why they don't have it like that. If there's some type of technical thing right there that's preventing them from, then I guess that would be why it's not like that, but As far as I know, I feel like that's something that they should be able to do, and I really hope they will in the future. Another thing that I would really love to see, that this one was probably not going to be as easy to do because some of this would require a little bit of new models and stuff like that, but I think it would help the game quite a bit, and that is more fur variations for the animals. Currently, a lot of fur variations are only for females, which is a bit strange. It seems to be like that with a lot of Virhonga species, but yeah, currently there's a few that are only on females, like the red warthog, the black-brown springbuck, or I think that's what it's called. It's the darker springbuck. You guys probably know which one I'm talking about, but those are only on females, and it would be really nice if we could get them on both genders, along with all the other ones that are gender-specific. It really doesn't make sense to have most fur variations just on one gender. And it could be a bug because obviously that's how it was with the albino harlequin ducks, and I believe just the grizzlies in general couldn't spawn as an albino, and they were meant to. So it could just be a bug, but I really feel like they should do that to where both genders can have every fur variation that's available. There's also some fur variations that are in real life that they don't have in the game, that I'm not really sure why they haven't put them in, and that being stuff like albino ducks, leucistic whitetail deer. Those are things that they don't have but are real, and as far as I've read, it seems like a leucistic whitetail deer is more common than an albino, so the fact that it's not in game is a little bit shocking to me, and I really hope that they eventually decide to do that. Oh, while I'm thinking about it, one other thing that they did mention that is coming in this next patch is they're going to be fixing the leucistic pronghorn. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of this video, but yeah, they're going to be fixing them, and so you guys can expect me to go after one. I'm going to see if we can get a pretty good sized leucistic pronghorn. Based off of the real life pictures I've seen, they should be pretty sweet, so that's going to be exciting. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about is the current mechanics for waterfowl hunting. Obviously, as most of you know, the duck hunting right now is not very realistic, and it's honestly a bit too easy. You can just go to every map and legit go to every little lake, and you can pretty much find a diamond, teal, or mallard duck or harlequin duck pretty easily just by checking all the bodies of water. And it makes it so it's a little bit too easy to get stuff like that, and same with like rare fur variations for ducks. I feel like they'd become a little more rare if they just made the duck hunting similar to the goose hunting, because currently the geese on Hirschfelden are about as close as we have to being realistic, and honestly I think they did the geese pretty good for the most part. It's similar to the Hunter Classics waterfowl hunting, which I know quite a few Classic players absolutely love the waterfowl hunting in the Hunter Classic, and if they could do something like that for the duck hunting in Call of the Wild, I think it would help the game out a ton, and it would definitely bring a lot of players to the waterfowl hunting, because currently not too many people care about hunting ducks. From what I've seen, it seems like nobody really cares about them too much, and I think that's something that could make everybody be interested in them again. But that's really all I had to talk about. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We are almost at 4,000 subscribers as I'm recording this. I think we're at like 3,973. So by the time this video goes up, there's a chance we might be at 4K, and that is absolutely amazing. I can't thank you guys enough. I'm super, super thankful for that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to go ahead and let the clips play, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace! If you are new here and you are liking what you see, consider subscribing to the channel and turning notifications on. Also, if you want to help the channel grow, be sure to like the video because this alone can help the video and my channel do better. But that's going to be it for me. Peace, my dudes. I hope you all have a fantastic day.